What is up, guys? It's YodaDaWise here with Aladdin Boys, coming at you with another Ark of War video. I'm making this video because there's a new comm. Her name's Dragonslayer, and I don't feel like she's been given enough attention when it comes to everyone who's been making videos about this game. So I decided, I'm gonna make a video about it. Started off though really cool. Shout out to Melt for when she first came out like 3 or 4 weeks ago. He used I sent him a replay when I was first starting to just mess around with her and just to test her out to see what she could do. And he put it on his channel. We're gonna go through that video. And I have a couple other videos that kind of show some interesting things, that just show kind of how OP Shockwave is and how devastating it can be. So, just kind of moving forward, this is my Dragonslayer. She's 235 K leads. This is actually an older screenshot from a few days ago. These videos, it's like, they take time and you gotta have just the willpower to make them sometimes. But I'm actually at 55, 60, and 50. Pretty much how her skills go. Whatever level they're at is going to be the percentage times 10. So at level 50, attack power is increased by 50% for crushing blow, which is, it's a lot like Golem's crush ability, to where it's just going to stack on more attack power, which in tandem goes really well with Shockwave, because Shockwave is really depending on how much attack or damage or crit damage, whatever the end damage result that pops up in the little red numbers above the slot that you just attacked. Because Shockwave is going to do 60% of that attack on that slot to all the targets left. And it can be very devastating. This really is a game changer. You can't, with Dragonslayer, you can't set up one ranger anymore. You put that one ranger on and you could end up you might as well just write the tombstone right there for all your troops. If Shockwave goes up on that one ranger. It's pretty devastating. Kind of going into the gear that I use. Alright, so going into gear, again, these are screenshots from a couple days ago. The Overlord pants there on the bottom, they're actually level 30 as well. But I'm also running Armor of Tyrant, 2 Titans, and the Devil's Touch. Once again, she's essentially a one-slot buster. You want to have as much as attack and crit as you can get on there. That's why the Overlord pants are really beneficial. If I had another Devastation helmet, because I use that one on Nikajiro right now, and we'll get to that in a moment, but if I had another Devastation helmet, I'd probably put it on her too right now. I'm still trying to figure out penetration though. We really haven't had anything solid saying that penetration is that much better than just adding more attack to her. So I'm also running Cepheus Majesty and Scorpio. I was, before when I was running Vega, I was doing Gemini, but with Dragonslayer, it's all about that one hit. That one hit with Shockwave is what matters. So Scorpio is going to add on to it. Cepheus Majesty is going to take away defense buff, so it's going to make it hit even harder. We got the 2 Tyrants, Titans. We got the Overlord. A lot of crit, a lot of attack. That was the main focus here. The Devil's Touch was nice because it still gave the HP to defense kind of ratio, so you still have that survivability. For the most part, it's not so much of a glass cannon. I use that one mostly for, just attacking on our server, just arcs and whatnot. I use it in Ace. Not so much anywhere else right now. I'm going to definitely be using it in Galactic. Moving on though, this is the gear set that I used to use on Vega when I mained him. That is actually a perfect Valkyrie. I got really lucky on that one. It's at 99.7% base. But still the same 2 Titans, and then Armor of the Tyrant, and then on this one with the Valkyrie, I'm running the Fearless Pants. And with this one, we see a lot more. Like, I've seen a lot more benefit in the damage reduction than I have the penetration. I mean, again, there's really not much that I've seen so far. There's a lot of speculation that the penetration is more for T12 players. So what does that mean for people like me who are basically barely getting T10 because I just don't spend that kind of money on the game? But as you can see here, this is more tanky. It's got a lot of HP. The defense is pretty much still the same. I'm still running Scorpio. I'm still running Cepheus Majesty. This one is better for when I'm facing plasmas. If you're doing endless ace, the plasma, when you get onto those plasmas, this is wonderful because the survivability just heightens. It also works really well for me in Galactic. So whenever we're in Galactic Battle and we're really just don't care about points for the match, and we're just really just trying to keep the timer going on the enemy fort, this setup right here actually has helped me stay alive a lot longer and gives a lot more time for the larger players that we have in our guild to reset their comms, and so we can just keep it going. It does get costly though. This is the last set that I use, and like I said, I use a Devastation helmet on Nikajiro. Well, this is actually Nikajiro's gear set. 2 different Titans. I put the Shura on him, and then the Maguel pants, and that's also why you see the infantry HP, infantry attack, and whatnot, because it's got Andromeda on him, and it's got Sagittarius. Now with this one works really good so far against one of the opposing Chinese guilds that we're always in Sentikin kind of going back and forth with each week. He's got T12. He usually sets up full slots of 1 and 4 maxed leadership, and then he'll put 1 T12 on 2 and 1 T12 on 3. Now with me, that Andromeda, hopefully if I have the first hit, Andromeda's triggers, and then now I have an opportunity to take out either slot 2 or slot 3 of his T12, because there's only one there. And having that attack and that crit, I only have to use about 25 Death Angels to get through that one. And mind you, his gear is solid. It's all 40 plus on a Vega. So he's stacked on his HP, defense, and all that other stuff, and just having the insane HP that T12 has in the Origin. So that pretty much wraps that up. Once again, though, going back to the second set that I shared with you, I also use that one more for in a combination with the Devil's Touch instead of the Valkyrie, and with the Fearless Pants in Peak. Because when it comes down to it, Peak is all about the gear that you have and leadership. And overall, it just comes down to leadership. If you don't have the leadership, or Rogers, God forbid, it's going to be tough. So, then we move on to, this is the I sent to Melt, and he put in his video a few weeks ago when we were first introducing Dragonslayer. This is, like I said, when I first got it, so I still had Lighter Gemini on there. But you get to see Crushing Blow and Shockwave, and it hits pretty hard on this level 20. So 766 million, 114 million, which is about 15% of what that was. This next one, because now I'm sitting there thinking, you know what, okay. So we saw what it would do if it just hit a whole slot. What happens when we hit a single troop? Look at that. It takes the damage from that single troop, which is going to be exponentially bigger than what it would have been on a huge set. And that's the key thing here. This is what makes Shockwave so dangerous right now. Because you go through and we used to set up one ranger and then a full slot on the second because we weren't going to have the first shot, sacrificing that one ranger, hoping that our second slot is going to take out as much as it can before we just kind of go along with our day and heal the calm later. So we can't do that anymore. Not with Dragonslayer. It's going to just ruin your fun in that aspect. You're going to end up healing a lot more because you set up naively at this point. I mean, I'm giving you the information here. So last week, my guildmate Iceman, he just throws a comm in there. We're constantly just kind of resetting and saying, okay, can we get it down to a reasonable point where it makes sense to start stacking to maybe close out Sentikin. So he's running SWE. Obviously his first row is not going to counter anything there because it's Dragonslayer and this guy is also using airships. His back row, on the other hand, is infantry, therefore it will SWE those airships. Now, the interesting part here is that when you meet the right conditions for Shockwave, it ignores SWE. And you'll see right here in the video, there it was. So, Shockwave, as long as the attack hit the T2 airship, it affected the lurkers in the back. Now, whenever an awakening goes off, he ends up, taking out slot 1 and then directly attacking the lurkers behind it. It's always going to be negated in the SWE percentages. But as long as that Shockwave hits the Tier 2 airship, it's going to affect the infantry. So it ignores SWE. So at this point, I'm saying to myself, okay, so if it's ignoring SWE, is it going to ignore tier suppression? And fortunately, I had a buddy who, we're a really large guild. We're spread out, so our big players are in our top guild, which is War, Alpha. We pushing for 32, Season 9. But we have two little sub-guilds to where, people who are more casual players versus they really don't play that much, but they want to be a part of the cool kids. But anyways, so my buddy Negan, really nice guy to help me out like this. So I was like, hey, you got tier suppression, cool. Okay, can you do front row Rangers, back row 1 T7 each? And, with meta crystals nowadays, not a big deal to heal. So he's willing to help me out. We both send to a tile so we don't have to break our shields. And as you can see, I used tier 1 to make sure that, 100% was going to be tier suppressed. I didn't get the Shockwave, but I got it on the second round. And as you see, it hits the Ranger. 0 damage with the Awakening, but boom. There go those T7s with the Shockwave. So there we have proof that Shockwave not only negates SWE in the right conditions, it also negates tier suppression in the right conditions. And that's how, just going back to what I was saying in terms of, you put a Ranger out there, you're probably going to lose every troop that you have on there if the triggering occurs. So you definitely have to play a lot smarter when facing Dragonslayer. You're definitely going to just accept that you're probably going to lose a lot more with Dragonslayer unless you have insane HP or you just have higher tiers against them. So, kind of giving a different example here. So now, I can show you the leadership that I have with the troops versus tier 10 and ace. So this is basically pure gear, jewels, and leadership. We're not talking about halls. But Teletran was actually from a server we came from when we jumped servers back when I was able to start jumping. So it was kind of fun to go and just kick his ass and ace. And as you see, I got lucky. I got Crushing Blow or Cepheus Majesty or Scorpio and Shockwave right there. One hit, all gone. All gone. I barely lost anything in there. This one was funny against Typhoon. So he's got a pretty large Vega. I get the right skills to trigger. I essentially wiped him out. One hit wiped out without doing much, and he's a lot bigger than my Dragonslayer is. So that pretty much wraps it up. Like I said, I really felt like Dragonslayer, when Melt was kind of touching on it, like he really just kind of like, oh, here's a new comm, like whatever, like there's other things. He's got a lot of other things going on. So you know what? I made the video. It's fine. I hope you liked it. I hope you find some information in it. Once again, just to recap, Shockwave's OP. It ignores SWE in the right conditions, and it ignores tier suppression in the right conditions. You're not going to be able to do one slot, one ranger, second slot, full march. It's not going to benefit you anymore. Me and my guildmates, we've been kind of discussing, how can we combat Dragonslayer. And right now, our only suggestion at this point is either they have an OP Rogers. It's really the only person I lose to in Peak or in Ace is just a OP Rogers. Or Lilith. Lilith might be the only one to really give a fighting chance because of her disabling skill, Sleep Bomb, that, if they can't trigger Crushing Blow and Shockwave, and they never hit you with Shockwave, then it's never going to be a problem. So, right now at the moment, it seems like Lilith might be the best option in terms of being combative against Dragonslayer. I have another guildmate that's right now, he already decided he was going to be working on a Lilith because of that, when it came down to the T12 and whatnot. And so once he gets that up to a level and we can kind of test her out on it and whatnot and see how well it, the trigger rate versus, somebody's Dragonslayer is, hopefully I can come back and we can post that. But anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you took something out of this. Hit the like button, subscribe. Hopefully my buddy Justin and I will, get back on our series for Madden. But until then, I'm still going to try to, post things that I don't feel like is getting touched on by other people who have started their own, been around for a little bit on YouTube with their Ark of War stuff. But, yeah. Till next time, Aladdin.